So yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Helps a little bit. As I understand it, you're from kind of a smaller town in New Zealand, and you're a bigger guy. Was there any competition for you growing up here, or are you just kind of pummeling guys in the basketball court?
Where I was from, no, but sort of the region of Canterbury where I grew up, we had a lot of great basketballers coming up from that area. So I played my youth basketball in a area called North Canterbury. So it's a smaller, like rural region. But the wider Canterbury area was sort of great. We had a lot of programs in place and a lot of great coaches. So there was a lot of emphasis on the development aspect of the basketball. So it was definitely different. And even coming to like the WCAC was on this past week. These kids are so talented and athletic. And so, I mean, this is, as I've been told, the DMV area is one of the best places for basketball in America, which probably makes it one of the best places in the world. So seeing the talent like that, I wouldn't say we had anything like that back home, but it was competitive, and there were so many opportunities to get involved in basketball. So yeah,
that's great. You're of about probably the right age for this question. Was Steven Adams a huge influence for, young Kiwi basketball players, of your age group?
Yeah, no, he was a massive influence, and he's done such a great job of sort of inspiring the next generation of New Zealand players. He actually set up like a invitational tournament. So graduating seniors every year, the top players will get invited. So when I graduated high school, I was able to be a part of that.
That's cool.
Supply us with gear and have some of the best coaches around the country come and have like a 4-day training camp with sort of a game at the end of the weekend. So that was huge. He's put so much money and resources into New Zealand basketball. And also he's just a great model, real down-to-earth guy, which fits the New Zealand bill a lot. But no, he's been fantastic. And to see what he has done for New Zealand basketballers in terms of inspiring them has been massive. I mean, basketball is the largest growing sport in New Zealand at the moment. So I think, they can owe a lot of that to Stephen and his exposure of the sport in New Zealand. Because, I mean, New Zealand for the longest time has been a rugby country through and through. So I like that basketball's knocking on the door, and yeah, it's been awesome.
Yeah, he seems like a cool guy. I read a book he wrote in the last couple of years here. Just, I don't know, gave off good vibes throughout. But also, you guys are playing the same position. I figured that had to be a pretty big influence there. And the guys we are seeing come from New Zealand, I think, are more of the big man variety here a little bit too. You've got Tafara Gapari at Maryland, Julius Halafanua at Georgetown. They're you three are all here in the DC area. Is there like a New Zealanders and DC basketball players group chat or anything? Do you know those guys at all?
I know of them. They're definitely from the other part of the country in the North Island, I believe. Okay. But no, it's been great to have a lot of New Zealanders coming over, and especially in the DMV area. Like I've known all those guys for a while, and they're fantastic players. It's been great to see what they've been doing. So I think it's great. And as I said, I think Stephen has been good in terms of, showing the way, and especially for, I mean, those guys, they both play sort of like center/forward position. So it's been great to see. And I think it's been great in terms of, them being in the DMV. Like I've connected with a few other guys from New Zealand. So yeah, it's been fantastic.
I love that. And a little taste of home, just to be able to have at least somebody nearby that could know what you're going through a bit. I watched some tape of you as a high school senior playing a little bit, and young Mason was grabbing the ball off the rim and taking it coast to coast, pulling up for some threes here and there. We haven't seen you get to stretch the floor much at AU. Is that something we need to talk to Coach Simpkins about, like an unleashing point forward stretch big Mason Whittaker here?
Yeah, maybe. No, that was gosh, a while ago now. So I definitely think my game has changed a lot just in terms of, getting bigger and playing the center position. I didn't play too much center in high school, so
Okay.
it's definitely been a transition. But um, I don't know. I think what I'm doing at the moment is working.
All right, we'll
And
stick with that then.
yeah, but also I think I feel like I just want to do what the team needs. I feel like I can help defensively and help with a bit of a paint presence. And to be honest, like even just giving Matt Rogers like a quick five, I just want to make sure that when I come on that, we sustain what we're doing or even build upon that. So
Mhm.
I think for me, that's the most important thing. I really take pride in, getting defensive stops and pivotal rebounds and stuff like that. So maybe, but I don't know if it's the best thing to be doing it this late in the season. So
All
uh,
right. Well, we'll see for future basketball endeavors here if
yeah,
we can incorporate that back in a little bit there. You mentioned coming in for key rebounds here, and I would echo that you have a real knack for timely rebounds. Even if you're not getting the rebound, it's a really good box out, enabling another teammate to do that too. And I think you can see, the coaches have trust in you to do that. The way they'll substitute guys and bring you in for some of those big possessions. So I want to circle back to that in a minute. One question for you here. I'm just a little bit curious. Like you have dealt with those injuries, you are far away from home. Like, has that been tough mentally at times to just sort of yeah, okay, I got to get back up and I got to rehab this thing again and keep going.
yeah. That's such a great question actually, because it's something I think about a lot. For me personally, like the injuries and the setbacks weren't really like the frustrating thing
Okay.
because I always feel like I've been able to go, right onto the next thing
Mhm.
and, just work at it.
Sure.
So I don't think being out was that much of an issue mentally. I think I didn't realize until I got back to playing that it was the competitiveness that I really missed. And
Sure.
it's hard just sitting on the bench and,
Yeah.
not having a direct input on the game and still being able to engage with the team on the same sort of emotional and spiritual level.
Yeah.
So I think I found that the toughest actually, because I mean, I was out for so long that I kind of forgot, how
Yeah.
it felt to be competitive and
Sure.
be engaged in basketball. So I definitely know my first couple games, I was kind of, um, you
What
know,
is this? What am I doing?
yeah, I was, yeah, kind of deer in the headlights for a little
Yeah.
bit. But it's been fantastic. I mean, that's my favorite thing about basketball is just the competitiveness and
Mhm.
going at players, on the opposite team and you giving your best and them trying to match that. So it's been good to be back healthy, and I think that was the one thing that I noticed. I say, like, yeah, I'm really enjoying this now because it's I'm being competitive in it. So yeah,
Do me a favor, like share that with the rest of your teammates, right? Like these got guys here that are coming to the end of their careers and they probably haven't had to be without basketball. And once you get past this stage in your life, it is harder to replicate that competition, once you get in your 30s and 40s and things like that too. So I think that's a really good message for them. Leave it all out there the rest of the season here because this is not, a thing you're going to be able to find in that team atmosphere the same way. You don't get that bond with guys to that level. So I think that's something they would probably benefit from here as well. So I don't know, Mason, like just last thing on this, I won't get too deep, but like, what do you do mentally when you're going through those things? Like, was there something you did or another outlet you have? I know you're a really good photographer here. Like, is that something you kind of poured more energy into while you couldn't be out on the court?
I think so. I think you have to find stuff outside of basketball to kind of keep your mind sane.
Sure.
I think that's really important, and I have great teammates that have sort of supported me the whole way. So I think the main thing for me was, having conversations with teammates and um, coaches about those sort of things. But yeah, I definitely was sort of finding, outlets to the photography and other things. I know whilst I tore my ACL, I was learning guitar. So just
Okay.
stuff outside of basketball that sort of keeps you sane. Because I mean, it's a full-time job, and we're committed to that. So it's good outside the lines to sort of have stuff that um, relaxes you a little bit. But I mean, also I've had, just as I mentioned, a lot of great teammates that have yeah, been really supportive, and we've had those conversations. So it's been great.
You do enough of these podcasts and guys from every team. Everybody says they like their teammates on stuff like this. I know that you guys are actually like a really close group, and I think that's why it's been, so fun to follow. You can tell like there are certain things you can't fake, and anytime you have a big moment or a big rebound or something like that, those guys lose their minds. And I think they've seen firsthand what you've gone through to be out on the court, and it's cool that you're going to have these moments here on like a really important run and play meaningful. Provide meaningful contributions to the team here too, and their reaction is pretty awesome. Along those lines, there's the cliche, like if you stay ready, you never have to get ready. For somebody that, you may come in and have to play a pivotal moment in the game after not having played for 10 minutes. Like, how do you keep yourself sort of mentally ready to go in there and play hard and play physical and give it 100% for that full stretch that you're going to be out there?
Yeah, I think for me personally, I try not to think too much about the situation, especially not being as battle tested as some of the guys on our team, just from lack of experience of playing. I definitely think sometimes those situations can get overwhelming, but for me, I think I just try to stay calm, and my teammates do a great job of like supporting me with that. And also Coach Jack, he sort of emphasizes a lot with me. He said, just like, don't think about these things too much. In the grand scheme of things, they don't, like, don't care about it too much. Okay? The outcome's going to be the outcome. You've just got to go out there and put your 100% in. So he's been great for my development this year, especially. He works with us bigs at practice. So yeah, he's just instilled a lot of sort of mindset stuff with our group, and I'm super thankful for that. So yeah, I would say a lot of his expertise has helped in those times. And also, yeah, as you said, sort of staying ready. I don't know a lot of, going into games, what my role is going to look like, but I'll just, if you want me to play 15 seconds, I'll play 15 seconds. I really don't care. I just want to do whatever we can do for the team. So, yeah, that's sort of my mindset.
I think like just being able to just focus on see ball, get ball is so much easier than worrying about the moment and the situation and all those things. So I think that's great advice. And Greg said the other week, I asked him how he's been able to knock down free throws, late in games at such a high rate this season. And he just said, I don't think about it. And I think seems to be a collective theme here on the team, but it's great, right? Like you can't get overwhelmed by the moment if you're not thinking about the moment. So just keep doing what you're doing. Like I mentioned, you've had a couple of situations here where I like that Bucknell game. I think you played 7 minutes. You had probably the 4 biggest rebounds of the game, and they all led to baskets in some way, shape, or form that were huge for you guys. So I think that's a nice thing for other young basketball players to learn, is that you don't need 35 minutes to impact winning, especially when a team's having so many close games. Now I'm sure it'd be great, but even in this BU game, like I think there was a situation where they were kind of a bigger, rugged group, and they were going offense for defense with you for a while just to go in there and bang with those dudes, and you shut them down. So I think that's great to see, and it's cool that you always are able to play so hard. For me, I think there are a lot of guys that like kind of need to like ease into the game here a little bit. So the going to 0 to 60 right away, it is a talent. So kudos to you for being able to do that. So Mason, just want to talk about practice a little bit here for you. Like, I don't know, you got to battle Matt and Eric and these guys in practice every day. And you're also being asked, I think, responsibility wise with trying to replicate what these other Patriot League teams are going to do and how they're going to guard those guys. So you not only have to know what you need to do as an American university player, but you also kind of need to know what the guy from Lehigh is going to do, or the center Army is going to do. Can you just explain that a little bit for listeners? And I don't know, is that tough at all to kind of know 2 sets of responsibilities there?
Yeah, definitely. My first few years, I think I struggled with that. I was running a lot of scout team. So it's an adjustment because, yeah, we're meeting for 10 minutes at the start of practice and running through the plays. And then Coach Jack is like, right, you got that. And, you've got to know it. So I definitely struggled with that a bit at first, but I've definitely gotten better at it. And I mean, if we execute it on scout team, then, we're doing our best to prepare our high minute guys for the game. So, I mean, it's a super important part. And the group of us that are part of Scout Team, we try to take pride at, taking it to them because, I mean, we're all competitors at the end of the day. Like,
Yeah.
we're fighting for, playing time and minutes,
Yeah.
and, we want to help the team out any way we can. So, we're trying to compete. And I like sort of getting in those situations in practice where it's based, it is a game. It is a game for us. Coach will run 4-minute segments and we're going up and down, and it gets really, really competitive. So yeah, it's definitely a skill, but I've definitely gotten better at it. So yeah.
All right, so you've seen the most of it here firsthand. Are you the guy in the Patriot League right now that can guard Matt Rogers the best of anybody? Because you know all the moves at this point.
I don't know about that. I don't know if anyone can guard that guy. No, it's great. He does a good job at practice, sort of just competing. And I mean, he's a Swiss Army knife in terms of stuff he can do. Popping on ball screens or getting downhill to mid-range jump shot or a hook. So I don't know if I can. I don't know if I'm the best at guarding in the Patriot League, but
Maybe got the most experience at it at this point.
yeah, mate. Yeah, I'm probably the guy who's been scored on the most by him in the whole league. So and yeah, so practice is great. Him and Eric are just really strong guys, and I think as a group, we just really competitive and go at it. So I think in terms of every day, getting into practice and battling, I think would be one of the top ones in the Patriot League. So yeah.
So just talking a little bit again about the like having to understand the other team and what they're trying to do out there. Does that actually help you when you get into the game because you are a little more familiar with, hey, this is how their bigs are going to try to guard somebody. Now you know what to expect maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, I think it helps me in terms of I think I struggle a little bit being a visual learner. So going through the motion, I think in practice and running scout team definitely helps me. I can kind of put myself in the mindset of being in that same situation in the game and then sort of going from there. So I definitely think for me it works. I don't know if it would work for everyone. But yeah, definitely running scout team helps. And also kind of get the mindset of like what's the team's go-to move, or who are they trying to feed the most, or who do we have to do a team effort of guarding all 5 guys. So yeah,
makes sense. That's cool. All right, let's just take it off the court here a little bit. What are you majoring in? Like I said, I mentioned seeing some photography that came out, and you had a great piece with one of your teammates here a little bit. I'd love you to mention, but just I don't know what's the plan after basketball someday.
Yeah, that's a great question, and I don't even know if I know the answer to that.
That's okay. You got plenty of time to figure it out still, too. I'm not trying to rush you.
Yeah. So the photography's been my major, I think, since sophomore year. I was undecided in ESOS, the School of Communications. So that's been great. I never really saw myself coming into college doing something that is, well, I was horrible at numbers at high school. So anything like that. And I've always sort of been interested in more creative outlets. So the photography's been great. AU has one of the best programs, in the area. And it's just a really good environment to be part of. Everyone's really supportive. It's very similar to like the team aspect. We all help each other with our work and stuff like that. And then I've had really great opportunities. Just being in DC and the exposure you get. We recently had a show at the Cuban Embassy celebrating Black History Month, so that was huge. And yeah, it's been great. I've learned a lot. Still a lot more to learn, but yeah, it's been an awesome experience so far.
Are you selling any pieces anywhere? Can anybody listen to this go out and buy a Mason Whittaker original somewhere?
Potentially. I'm not currently selling any pieces, but I can do it. And I'm sure once graduation rolls around, I'll be doing a lot of graduation photos. So if anyone in AU or the DMV area needs graduation photos, hit me up.
There you go. All right. I like that. What's the plan post graduation? Do you want to stay here in the U.S. in DC? Do you want to go back to New Zealand? Have you thought about that kind of stuff yet?
Yeah, so post graduation, I think I'm going to go to New Zealand for a bit and look to potentially play in the New Zealand League.
Sure. Makes sense.
Either that or the NBL One in Australia. I don't know if you're familiar with that league, but
I get the basic structure. But for anybody listening, can you kind of give us the high level version, I guess, here?
Yeah, so the NBL One, I think, is the sort of regional, semi-professional, professional league in Australia. So I believe there is 5 sort of different sections divided up sort of geographically, and there's around like 15 to 20 teams, I think, in most conferences. So it just sort of spans around Australia, and then in terms of the New Zealand League, I think, I don't know, I feel like every year I look and they've added another team, but I think in the New Zealand League there's 11 or 12 teams now. So and that runs the same time as NBL One. So that's the New Zealand NBL was what I was a part of before coming over here. So that's a great league that's grown a lot. I know there was a few. I know Matt Moyer, who was at GW. He was part of the Rams, my old team. So that was actually cool meeting him.
They play that in the summer too, right? Like the U.S. summer, so it's sort of opposite other basketball, or slightly off from like college basketball season, right?
Yeah, I think it actually starts in about like a week and a half or 2 weeks, the New Zealand season. Yeah, and I think it might run through till maybe
May or something.
Nah, I think October.
Oh, okay.
Something like that. I'm not sure.
Long, gotcha.
Yeah, but yeah, that's sort of what I'm looking forward to. Gotcha. And then in terms of the photography, I'm not sure sort of where I want to take it. Sure. But it's definitely an interesting avenue, and I think in the future it could be something I really want to pursue in terms of potentially fine art or doing commercial stuff. Or I'm really open to whatever. I'm not too stuck on anything. So.
All right, I like it. Any AU grads listening to it here, if they need some photography work done, we got your guy for you. So this is just kind of a silly one, but what's the most frequent question Americans ask you about New Zealand?
Oh, that's a good question. Probably where is New Zealand?
Okay. That's not an indictment on our school system here if we don't have a general idea, at least.
Yeah, probably. Or they'll make a statement that they think New Zealand is somewhere else. I had a few people come up to me and say it was around the UK. So,
all right, that's tough. That's not a good look for us.
No, but yeah, I usually kind of like laugh and not correct them, and yeah. So
I was assuming it was going to be like some Lord of the Rings questions or something. I feel like that's like a lot of Americans' first exposure.
That's probably one of the second ones, actually. Okay. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, most people ask about Lord of the Rings and like, oh, was it filmed near your house? And
sure,
all that sort of stuff. Which I kind of wish it wasn't, because it would kind of like build up to the whole kind of everyone's thought of it. But yeah, they'll be like, oh, we're in New Zealand. Are you from? Did they film Lord of the Rings near your house? And I want to say no, but I think they filmed one scene kind of like 40 minutes from my house. So
it's a kind of yes at the very least.
Yeah,
that's really funny. It says in your bio on the AAU site that you like to, quote, listen to music. So what kind of music are you listening to? Is it American music? Is it New Zealand's music? Like what kind of genre?
I'm big into 70s rock and stuff like that. So a lot of Fleetwood Mac,
nice.
Van Morrison, Dire Straits, that sort of stuff. So yeah, Rolling Stones, Pink Floyd. I got a lot of sort of posters around my room from those bands. So that's what probably the majority of the listening I do is those sort of bands. But yeah, I just love listening to music. Like, I know a lot of people probably say that, but
sure.
Listen to a lot of music, and I'm always open to listening to new stuff. But I mostly sort of stay in the niche of like 70s.
That's classic.
70s stuff, yeah.
Your teammates, are they ever letting you control the aux cord in the locker room with that? No, come on, man. They gotta let you have your day at least.
Yeah, I sort of meet them in the middle. I'll play some sort of hip hop or some rap music that they like during weights, because we kind of rotate who has the aux.
Sure.
But no, they would never let me step foot in the locker room and play pregame music or anything like that. But
you're trying to broaden these guys' horizons, and they're not letting you.
That's what I tell them, but yeah, they don't seem so sure. So
we're recording this shortly after one game removed now from senior day. That was a cool moment. I guess, did any of the videos make it back to family back home? Did they at least get to see the ceremony there a little bit?
Yeah. I sent my mom a few videos that some of the parents were great enough to send to me. So no, it was a cool experience, and I think this senior class and even the graduating seniors, like we have been here for years, but
Sure.
we're getting up there, and
it's felt extra long, right?
Yeah, and it's been great just to we've been a huge part of the program for a while now, and to see some of the steps we're taking to be successful, especially this year, has been huge. So bittersweet moment, but hopefully we can extend the season as far as we can.
It's been super fun to watch. I'm super happy for you personally, just to get to see you out there on the court and helping your team out there and doing everything that you're doing. So keep it up, play hard, push these guys the rest of the way, and good luck, and look forward to seeing you at several more home playoff games here throughout the course of the tournament.
All right. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
All right, everybody. You know the drill. If you're watching this on YouTube, click the like button for us, rate, review, subscribe, all that good stuff. We're presented by betonline.ag, and we will catch